You know we're getting serious when you have to clean the glasses. My name is Alex, and I am a dietetic student, and I want to help you heal your relationship with food and understand nutrition better. Okay, so today we're going to talk about how to have a healthy relationship with food. How do you know if your relationship with food is unhealthy? Well, here is a few signs of an unhealthy relationship with food, and if you agree with some of these, then you might need to address this relationship with food. So 1, you feel shame or guilt when eating certain foods. 2, you label certain foods as bad or off limits. 3, you find yourself using food as a coping mechanism to deal with emotions like disappointment, anger, stress, nervousness, excitement. 4, you put rules around food and eating. 5, food choices dictate the success of your day. 6, your daily food choices are considered a reflection of who you are. 7, you avoid eating around others. And 8, you have anxiety or stress around events that have food. You didn't just click on this video to talk about it. You clicked on it to find out how you can fix it. So here are the 5 steps that you can take basically today. Step 1, unpack morality in food. This is one of the first things on this list because it is, in my opinion, the most important. Good versus bad type language is everywhere with food. When you start being aware of it, you can see how much it dictates people's food choices and actions around food. These food rules and this food connotation is not backed by research and usually is a sign of unhealthy behavior or leads into more unhealthy behaviors. Instead of chocolate is bad and carrots are good or healthy or unhealthy, food just is, and it exists, and it all has some sort of nutritional value. And reminding yourself that food just is the first step into this process of deconstructing the morality and connotations that we assign to food. Additionally, avoid using terms like cheat day, treat, guilty pleasure, or guilt-free because this also have negative connotations that you want to unpack and avoid. Number 2, give yourself unconditional permission to eat, including eating what you want. There's a myth that diet and exercise only work when you're miserable. It kind of gives me the vibe and reminds me of the beauty is pain sayings that I would get told all the time as a kid. Why would you want to waste your time and energy on making yourself miserable when you can get joy out of life? In the beginning of allowing yourself this unconditional permission, you may find that you eat more of the foods that you used to restrict. Allowing yourself that space and that grace, you will then be able to find balance and be able to come to an equilibrium in the world, just not having to restrict. Number 3, stop restricting. This maybe should be number 2. I don't know. This one's a pretty big one as well because a lot of people restrict. It's really common in today's society. And a lot of food insecurity comes from restriction. When you restrict, your body finds a way to get that food. This would look like a binge, always thinking about food or feeling a loss of control around food or food group. Our bodies don't want to be in starvation mode and will do anything to come out of it. But restricting calories, restricting macros, restricting certain foods and food groups is a behavior that is glorified in today's society, but is literally one of the top diagnoses in any eating disorder. And restriction pretty much almost always results in binge. So binging and restricting, restrict and binge, where you eat salads for an entire week and then either you have a cheat day or you lose control because you're extremely hungry, or you give in to your cravings or lose your willpower. All of these things are, again, morality. They don't mean anything in nutrition, and they're not backed by any proven research. Number 4, be present when you eat. You can also call this mindful eating. It's part of intuitive eating as well. So for some, and what is recommended for mindful eating is where you do nothing but eat and you focus on your food and your body. I had pasta for dinner. I'm probably going to eat a couple more things today, but in mindful eating, you would just sit at a table or in a chair, somewhere that is just for eating, and you are present with the way that your body feels, and you're present with the textures of your food and the flavors of your food. And this can be helpful to some people. I have ADHD, so the idea of just sitting there chewing feels like torture. And I have tried it. But I do mindful eating in a different way that works with my ADHD. So if you are neurodivergent, you have ADHD, my recommendation is to do mindful eating in smaller chunks. Pay attention to how your body feels during and after eating, when you're full, when you're satisfied, and learning the difference between being like stuffed full and just regular full or satisfied. And that takes time and takes practice, especially if you've unlearned the feeling of fullness and your hunger cues. There are workbooks that you can buy for intuitive eating that'll walk you through step by step. I've linked a few resources in the description. As well, I made a free intuitive eating journal Notion template that you can get down in the description. Number 5, get support. It is a good idea to see a dietitian if you feel overwhelmed or out of control with food. If you can get a dietitian, it might be a good idea to consult one. I find that family doctors, regular doctors are very quick to prescribe changes and weight loss without any kind of guidance and help, or they don't care to find the true and full story. And if you tell them, and they may make judgments based on how you look. For many, I know that seeing a dietitian is not a viable option. So I have put a few resources in the description, including some books and a few groups. You can find local groups by searching your town and intuitive eating. And if you like some of the stuff that I talk about, you can look for weight inclusive groups. So tell me in the comments, have you tried intuitive eating and how did it go for you? To kind of wrap this up, our relationship with food is very much tied to ourselves and our view of our bodies. To unpack our relationship with food, you might need to go into deeper issues as well. This journey will look different to everyone, and remember not to compare yourself because you are your own unique person with your own unique experiences, and you are allowed to just exist however makes you happy. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget your free intuitive eating journal in the description. I will see you guys next time. aspects. I am a dietetic student, and I want good versus bad, not veg. I feel like I have a pepper in my tooth. My